Okay, welcome to the intermission of the MWGHL All-Star Game. Having to talk in past tense because of scheduling conflicts. I'm doing the usual post-game interviews during the intermission. Michael Dell joined by Christine Oakley of the Silvertips. Christine, twice in a week. I didn't picture this happening when I talked to you on Sunday, but thanks for taking the time and long time no chat, I guess.
I guess.
How's your season been? I mean, obviously we've already kind of hashed out everything else about, the game on Sunday, but your team season as a whole. For those that are just tuning in now, how has your team season gone so far in your mind?
I personally would think, and by looking at the stats, it's been going really good. Um, this is the best Silvertips team I've played on in the 4 years I've been on the team. I'm super impressed with how everyone's playing as a team. We've got a few losses, but keeping us humble. So it's we're playing very well, and I hope we continue with it the rest of the season.
We talked about it the last time I had you on. That was the loss on Saturday, and your team's ability to come back on Sunday. What does that say about your team?
It speaks volumes that we can shake off a 8-4 loss that we had on Saturday and come out like a completely different team on Sunday. Um, I hope that we can keep that going throughout the whole season. And we don't even need to be playing games where we put ourselves down 4-0 in the first period. But the fact that we could shake that off and come out with a win the next day is really impressive.
And I was looking deeper at it, a bounce here, a bounce there. You guys are back to within getting at a one-goal game at early points in the third period of that game.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly, you guys lead the lead in man games lost. Seems like, you're playing shorthanded every game as a team. Different player every game kind of scenario for various reasons. What does that say despite your lineup kind of changing over on a game by game basis that you guys are able to just keep rolling right along?
I think that just goes to show how much of a team we actually are. That we're all friends on our team. We're all so close that you put us with anyone and we can play like a team. Like we've played with each other all season. So it's super nice to be able to feel like I can trust anyone I'm put on the ice with at all times.
So tell me about you. I mean, obviously you joined the MWGHL a few years ago now. You're one of the older players on the Silvertip team. Before we get into your All-Star selection, just tell me, what do you remember about your first year in the Silvertips? Because I, I want to say, from a broadcaster's perspective, that this has kind of been building with you guys here step by step the last number of years. How would you compare it? Not to put down previous iterations of the Silvertips, but what's different about maybe you or your team from your first year with them till now?
Um, I mean, I think our team dynamic is very different, and I'm not trying to like put down like the players I played with in the past, but this year everyone's like definitely super close as a team. I don't think anyone's ever left out. Like everyone's super good with each other. Everyone likes our coaches. Our coaches are great. So just the community that we come to the rink every day, and everyone that is looking forward to seeing each other. That like is definitely equaling to better play on the ice. We're all enjoying being there. So it makes playing like 100% better. And I think you can definitely see it in our gameplay. We're getting lots of more wins, and I think that has everything to do with the fact that everyone enjoys playing with each other this year. Whereas in the past, I don't think that was always the case, unfortunately. But I'm glad this year's a bit different.
Tell me about the playoffs last year. We'll get to your All-Star selection in just a minute. You guys lost an 89 three-game series to the Northern Stars. I've talked to several of your teammates throughout the year. They said that was part of the motivating factor for this year. How would you view that? Because you guys were so close in that series, particularly that third game, just wasn't quite enough. Was that kind of the motivator for that kind of set this up?
Of course. In that series, I think we scored maybe like 3 goals the whole series. So we obviously saw a problem there. And as soon as we came back into this season, we're scoring more goals than ever. So I think directly translate to translates to this season. We're picking up our shots and our goals this year, so that was definitely motivating. I don't think any of us want that to happen again this year, and we're hoping to make it to the finals. So keeping that in our minds all the time.
Well, top 2, you'll get a bye-in, and it's only one playoff series win till the finals, so fingers
Exactly.
crossed that continues. Tell me about your season, how's it been for you? What have you liked about your game? What maybe you think could have done better? I mean, I honestly, I can't think of too many things that could have done better based on your team's record, but how would you assess your play so far?
Um, Personally, I mean, my goal is always as a player is to work my hardest. I'm If I don't score, it's like I'm still frustrating with myself. But if I'm not working hard, then I'm not happy with myself at all. So as long as I keep working hard, I'm putting more shots on net this year. So I think that's also getting me more shots than usual, which is pretty nice. But I really enjoy the people I'm playing with, and they're helping with that. So I can set some people up for shots as well. So get some assists and points up on the board. But I think this year is better than ever, and I'm excited to finish it off. Keep going.
So tell me, Christine, about sort of your mindset of what it means to you to be picked as an all-star. I mean, your team is very, very good. There could be multiple all-star selections from your team based on just the way you guys are playing and your record. And typically, they always say the top 2 teams have the most difficult decisions. So those are typically, whether you look at it one way or another, the better team. But to be selected as an all-star from a team that's as deep as your team is, what does that mean to you?
Oh, it means the world. I always put my heart into our games, so to know that it's paying off and that it's getting recognized means a lot. Um, Anyone could have been picked, but I think into like making the decision, it doesn't always have to be who gets the most points. If you're showing up, if you're working your hardest, if you're a good teammate, that all pays into making it to the All-Star game. So I'm glad all my work's been recognized by Ryan, Kara, and Alyssa, and I'm excited to play this weekend.
So, on that note, you have a bit of a unique situation because somebody that played with you last year is now on your bench, in Alyssa Olsen. What's that transition been like? Obviously, teammates, the coach, the dynamic changes a little bit, but what's that been like for you and your teammates to have, somebody that was kind of familiar with what went on last year, now not on the ice, but on the bench?
I actually really love it. I think because I played with her last year, she heard everything we talked about, everything that like maybe she thought also needed to be like altered or fixed. And she's definitely spoken up and done those things. She runs the forward side of the bench really well, and I really like having her there. Um, yeah, she runs the bench really well, so it's nice to have her just with us as the forwards.
So, as you assess the first half, is there an area that you feel your team needs to improve on going forward? Because, it's one thing to be in first place, but, by no means, I think a couple of your teammates, along with yourselves, have already admitted this. By no means are you guys a finished product because you're in first place. Is there an area of your game, your team's game in particular, that you feel like you can kind of work on here as we head toward the playoffs?
Oh, of course. There's always things we can work on. Specifically, I think playing a full 60-minute game, we go on a lot, and we don't play first, second, and third. We're usually lacking one of them. So doing that, um, we could always produce more on the power play, and our breakout could use a bit of work. But we still got lots of time to work on all of that. So hopefully we can clean those up and be ready for playoffs. But always things that need to be worked on.
One of the fundamental things that I think is a hallmark of your team is
Mm.
the power play, and when you win the faceoff, more
Yeah,
times than not, you score in the first 20, 30 seconds of the power play.
yeah.
Is that kind of by design, or is that just kind of the way it happens to fall?
I mean, obviously, possession is key in a power play. So winning that face off and setting it up right away is more than ideal. But I think sometimes it might just be a little lucky that we do get it right away as soon as we do win that draw. But I mean, that's always the plan to get it back to our defense and set it up as soon as we can.
Finally, a couple more before I let you go here. Tell me about your rookie group. Obviously, it's a very it's an interesting group of rookies in the fact that they all fit in. They all seem to be contributing uh, in various means, and you have one in breakfast leading the league in scoring.
Mm.
What can you say about your rookie group and what they've been able to bring? Because nobody seems to really know early in the season how their rookies are going to contribute. And, in more games than not, they've looked like second and third and fourth year players, more so than rookies. I'm just wondering, what have they brought to your team?
I mean, obviously they've brought some goals with Brooke leading the league in points, so that's super nice. But besides that, we got some solid um, second or well, we have first line rookies on our team, so that's super nice. And we got a solid defense, couple defense as rookies too this year. So it's definitely helped our team in producing goals and getting back on D. Um, Definitely rounded out the team with the rookies, and it's looking really good. I'm super impressed with them.
Really quickly, Courtney Marshall back to her form of 2 years ago last year. I think she'd admit was a bit of a down year, but you may have seen her when she played with the Owls and was this good. Um, Boy, your goaltenders are really taking it to another level, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I couldn't be more thankful for them. They're crazy in net, and they stop goals that I think are going to go in sometimes. So they come out with some crazy saves, and we seriously could not do it without them. Yeah, it's super. It's nice to trust our goalies that they have our back when sometimes we do slip up and let easy shots in, but they're always there and they always make those big saves for us, which is really appreciated.
Two more for you quickly here. It's the All-Star game. You kind of mixed and mingle with players from different teams.
Hmm.
You'll have yourselves plus two other. I think because you guys finished first, you'll have the the third place finisher and the fifth place finishing teams on your All-Star team in particular. Do you have goals for tonight, or how did this kind of work?
I'm actually really excited. I have some friends on some of those teams, so it'll be cool to finally get to play with them rather than against them. I actually coach hockey with one of the girls on the Preds team, so she'll be playing on my team this year, which will be for this game, which will be pretty fun. I'm kind of excited for it actually. So we'll see. It can't be too friendly, but it'll be fun.
Score a couple goals maybe, or
Yeah, maybe show her how it's done.
the poor goalies in a game like that. I always feel bad for the goalies.
Yeah.
Finally, you coach hockey. How's that going, and what does that do to your schedule?
Yeah, I coached double A hockey, so that's like 5 days a week, which is pretty intense. But I love coaching hockey. The girls are all great. Keeps me very busy and keeps my mind on hockey all the time. I'm coaching and I'm coming up with new things for me to do while I play. So it's like a give and a take with playing with coaching, and I really like it. This is my like fourth year of doing it, and I hope to keep doing it. But it's really fun.
Yeah, it's always cool, right? When you have players that are able to give back and coach and play it. Just
Hmm.
try to win the schedule would make my head full up. But that's a discussion for another day. Thank you so much for joining me, Christine. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's the second period of the All Star game is coming up next.